See, I think I think I can contribute through this kind of platform discussion. One thing we don't do very much in our society is to sit down and talk and argue points to the minute. Okay. See, Africa is a big place. And sometimes when we say Africa, it sounds as if it's a village.
Okay?
Yeah. A lot of us blame the Western world for seeing Africa as a small place in their vision and in the way they act towards Africa. But I will tell you, we do that a lot. See, even this platform, I try to bring as many people from different areas because, see, I want us to work together as a unit, but it's not going to happen today. It's not going to happen in 10 years because I realize and I appreciate the fact that one, Africa is vast, very vast. One. Two, Africa is very diverse, very, very diverse. Okay. And those who do not appreciate these 2 points are the people who think because I have one idea in Ghana or in Kenya or in South Africa or in Nigeria or Egypt, Morocco, that idea must work all through in Africa. Yeah. It will never work. Okay, so the first thing is that we need to acknowledge the differences of our peoples. See, I say plural peoples because we are very, very different peoples. Yes, we all live on the same continent, but see, a lot of African historians also do this. Okay, we take the history of Egypt and we say it's a history of Africa. No, it's the history of Egypt.
Yes.
And Egypt is only one small place. Okay, maybe in conjunction with Sudan, maybe in conjunction with a little bit of Ethiopia, but no more than that. Yeah, that's the truth. See, I'm really passionate about these things because if we continue treating Africa as one village, then all the things we think we have in our heads will never work. It will only work once we acknowledge this place is big.
The biggest.
See, so in US, the people who live in the East Coast are very different from people who live in the West Coast.
Yeah.
And the whole of America is not bigger than maybe three quarter of West Africa. I mean, look at that. So until we acknowledge that we are vast, our continent is vast, and we are very diverse, so we should not expect us to all be the same.
Yeah, I think that's a ridiculous expectation. And when you talk about being African, Pan-African, being Nigerian, the wider group should be used only to the point that it's useful for the smallest community.
Excellent.
That should be the purpose of that grouping. The purpose of that grouping is, let's say you have two different communities. Let's use England as an example.
Yeah.
You have these two different communities. one of the communities is flourishing, is doing well, and the other community isn't. You go into the other community and you say, hey, how can we help? Hey, how can we improve this community?
Yeah.
Someone in the community might say, hey, we need to do this thing. Maybe we need to start this program. And then it's like, okay, at this point, we're completely ignoring the other community that's doing well, that's flourishing. And we say, okay, if we implement this program, it's going to take 2 months for the community to get to a great place, right? Because there's learning to be done, there's mistakes that will be made. And this timeline is a fake timeline. Imagine maybe 20 years.
Yeah, of course.
And so you say, okay, by our measurement, by implementing these programs, it's going to take 2 months for us to get to a good place. Now you have this other community that's flourishing. And someone says, hey, if we actually appeal to this other community and said to them, hey, could we kind of learn from some of your mistakes? Can you share some of that knowledge? We'd get there in 1 month rather than 2 months.
Yeah.
And now you would pull from this wider group and say, hey, as British people, can you help us develop the whole by sharing some of your knowledge?
Teach us something. Yeah.
Teach us something, right? And then at the point at which you use that information to get to where you need to get to, that wider group, and you can drop it again and pick it up when it's useful. But ultimately, it's about, like, people can't think past the communities they're in for the most part. And start respecting that notion and not expecting people to be constantly thinking about, first of all, the whole country and then the whole continent. It's a ridiculous expectation to have everyone. And if we're all pretending that's what we're doing, we're not going to move anywhere.
Good. See, I realized that this before I started this platform, and I've been trying to let other people to understand that, hey, yes, we want to be one unit, but we are not. Okay. So if we really want to be one unit, then we need to start by acknowledging that we are not, and ask the questions: what differences do each small unit have that may be difficult for us to integrate ourselves? Until we do this, until we consciously do this, we will never be one unit.
And another question you can even ask is, we're so quick in that unification to throw away diversity. Sometimes you have to stop and ask, is there a benefit to the diversity and the distinction between us, you know? Because you see that in a lot of places. Like, we're proponents of that in every other area, like diversity, you know, different ideas create a great. So we need to also make sure we're not throwing away that thing that we naturally have. And there must be some use for it.
See, this is the main reason why I'm so passionate to talk about this, because we are so diverse. Okay. In truth, if we see, there are things that people from the East, West, North, South, Central do very well. And there are also many, many things that each of those groups do very badly. So we want to bring all the good things from every area and possibly eliminate all the bad things. Okay. Yeah, it's going to be, that's just a theory, but that's the thing. Yeah.
To quickly add to that, there's this idea that the way to, like, people think the way to get rid of a bad habit is by dropping it. And there's the idea that actually the way to get rid of a bad habit is by replacing it with a good one.
That's it. So
in seeking out those good things from other communities, that will actually drop the bad things.
Good.
Yeah, carry on.
See, this is in truth, this has been the way the world has progressed. See,